I don't know. Hello and welcome. I am Sarah Seidelman, and I am here with the lovely Nancy Ferris, as in Ferris Bueller. Nancy Ferris, can you say hello?
Hello.
So I've been doing a series of interviews called the Hummingbird Series, in which I introduce you to different people who I think are going to really add some sparkle and love to your life. And Nancy is one of those people, and she is the life coach in charge of Rocksteady coaching, which is a combination of talent coaching for creatives, coaches, entrepreneurs, and in particular rock musicians is one of the specialty areas. And I'm going to let Nancy talk about that. But I stumbled into her it's been about a year and a half now, and she's really helped me in so many ways with my own business and in my own life. With social media, she's been helping me in other things, but I want to introduce you to her because she is just a lovely, lovely, intuitive, connected coach. And also she's been in the rockstar biz for a while, and the promotion biz, and all these things, and also strategizing with people in their careers. So whatever it is you're working with, there's likely that Nancy could help you. So Nancy, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Yes. So one of the things I think that's really powerful is how coaches can really help us to see things about ourselves or opportunities for us that we don't see ourselves. You know, when I think of life coaching, when I think of sports coaching, when I think of talent coaching, like what you do, and I think that's one of the strengths you really bring. And maybe I know for me, that's something that you've pointed out opportunities for me that I was like, oh, I could do that. And then I'm like, ooh, that would be fun. And it was fun. We can talk more specifically, but maybe tell us a little bit about the work you do, or maybe illustrate how you've helped somebody who's in either coaching business or the rock star business.
Well, I've kind of felt like my calling is to help people help get their messages into the public eye. I've worked in media and the entertainment industry for my entire adult life. And so when I took the Martha Beck Coach training, I kind of did it as a leap of faith, not wanting to really shift careers because I really love what I do. But I just kind of had this idea that I would be led, and that my existing skill set would meld somehow with the coach training, and I would know why I was doing it. It's been a really hilariously magical journey in that regard. But what really came up for me quite clearly early on is that it's kind of a mission of mine to help mainstream the messages about how we create our own experience in this life and the kind of power that we have over that, and to help bring the mainstream media into some of the amazing tools and practices that we learn from coaching. So that's kind of like the overarching mission for me from the coach side, is to help people who are ready in the coaching world to mainstream their messages or are interested in attracting media attention for them.
Awesome. And I know, because I've stayed at your house, that you and I share a love of kind of this deliberate creation, this idea that you can create a life that you love, and you have a lot of power to influence what happens in your life. And so thinking good thoughts. And I know on your website, Rocksteady, you talk a lot about the hero's journey, and maybe you can say a little bit more about why that concept excites you so much, or what it is about that you wanted to be front and center on your website.
For me, the hero's journey is to be in a place of, alignment with your core integrity and your knowingness about why you're here on this earth and who you're here to serve, and to stay in that place and allow the co-creation process and allow the universe to support you, and to look for the signs and the magic and the miracles along the way as kind of validation that you're on the right path. And that's where the fun and the magic part is looking for those signs and symbols. And it's that for me, that's been a hilarious validation for me that I'm on the right path is the things that show up along the way. And everyone has those talismans. Everyone has those things in life that they know, they recognize as kind of those God winks, or those, those messages from spirit. So it's kind of staying in that place of being, in faith and trust that you're being guided, and that you're here for a purpose, and you're here to serve the greater good.
I know you have a funny, like a story I remember you telling me about, because I think it's always helpful to get like an actual, like a story that illustrates this. But I remember you talking about in the fall, we were sitting down, one of your clients that you work for, who's a performing musician, you're coaching them, that elephants were really helping both the client and you as you were supporting the client. And maybe you can share a little bit about that, sort of what happened there.
Well, I hesitate to get into like the long-winded story,
Right.
the whole big long story part, but the elephant theme, elephants have never been of great significance to me necessarily in my journey, but all of a sudden it would literally, the elephant was in the room. I met one band that I work with, and the lead, the front man was actually playing guitar for an elephant under a circus tent at the first moment that I met him, and the elephants were kind of dancing. So that will get your attention, first of all. And then not, in part of that journey, then I met you, and your memoir was Swimming with Elephants. And that was a super clear, indication that the elephants were still in the room. And then farther along, I was drawn to work with this other band, it was just like a pull where you kind of know where your experience and your skill sets can really be in service to moving someone forward, contributing to them. And the name of the band is Loxodon. And I didn't have any idea when we, kind of agreed that we were going to work together that Loxodon means mythical elephant warrior. So it was just kind of one of those things where you go, okay. So
I think I will continue.
Yes, I think I will continue allowing the elephants to guide me, along with the other signs that I've received along the journey.
So talk to me about, like, we know on the hero's journey, you wake up one morning and you realize I'm not satisfied at work, or I love my work, but I don't like who I'm working for. The company I'm working for, it no longer feels ethical, or whatever, for whatever reason, like things have to be done in a different way. And so you begin the hero's journey and you say yes to your new life. In my case, it was leaving medicine to say yes to kind of the mystery, because I wasn't exactly sure what it was I was going to do. But as we know, when we say yes to the hero's journey, like, we get on the road of trials and it is challenging. Like, what advice, how do you coach people through those difficult challenges? Maybe like you're a new coach and you've just started your Facebook page and like you've got 25 likes and you're like, how am I going to attract clients? How am I going to do this? Maybe my pessimistic neighbor who said I was never going to make it, or it would be unlikely, was right. What am I going to do? Or the band who's trying to get gigs and can't seem to get a paid gig. Like they've been doing free gigs for a while and they're like, how am I going to do this?
The dynamic that has been crystal clear to me over and over, and it's universal, it doesn't matter, who it is in the public eye, whether it's musicians or coaches or authors or entrepreneurs, is that everyone gets really, they're in alignment with their project, and they know, they can see very clearly who it serves and how it's going to move forward and what their gifts are. And then they have to move out of the creation process, and they have to think about taking it to the world. And when they shift and they start thinking about marketing, it's like this cloud of confusion comes over them, and that they can no longer see exactly how they should present that to the world. And if they step in, and a lot of times the danger is they step out of their authenticity, and they think that their marketing should look like something else. It should look like somebody else, or they try to build it around something that they've seen, instead of really remaining like in that core truth and in that alignment. And that's where people resonate with us, is when they can see that we're, that there's no subterfuge and that there's no sales aspect to it. They're responding to something that is truth. And that's what was always my mission when whoever I'm coaching, is to get to that place of true, clear authenticity, which is something that, has drawn me to your work from the beginning, is because you sparkle with it, and it's true, and keep them there. and so, and make sure that all of the marketing and all of the way that they interface with the world looks like them. And it resonates with that clear authenticity and truth.
Amen. I love that. And I remember a time when I can't remember how we were talking about something, and we were talking about social media, and I said, wow, like I'd made this post, I'd taken a picture of my closet, which was just a total disaster. And I remember standing in the doorway and like clicking the picture because I was like, I just want people to see like, this is how bad it gets around my house sometimes. And as I was taking the picture, my husband's like, what are you doing? But I'm going to share this picture on social media because I just, want to say like, wow, it's a mess in here, but I'm going to get it cleaned up. And I had something I wanted to share about it. And he was like, why would you share that picture? And then I kind of went, oh, good. Maybe I went into that cloud of confusion for a moment. But then as we were talking about it, you reminded me like, it's my job to be messy, imperfect, vulnerable, like open. And like, that's really where I want to be. But there's a lot of messages to tell us not to do that. There's a lot of things to tell us to shut down. And not that my husband's just a totally different kind of person. He's not confessing his life on Facebook. That's not his deal. That's not where his superpowers are. He's using them in other ways. But I love that. Like our best way of connecting with clients, audience members, whoever it is, no matter what you're doing, whatever kind of art you're making or whatever kind of coaching you're offering, is just to be authentically you. And that's the challenge.
It really is, because we all want to appear to the world to be perfect and be shiny all the time. And we think that that's how people, will admire us. But the opposite is really true. And the more that you surf these waves and are in this world, the way that people connect with us is through our imperfections and through our vulnerability and through our humanity. So, being fearless in coming across, as yourself is the way to magnetize attention and the audience, instead of, marketing for it, right. Doing the sales funnel and and all of the mechanisms, which are still important and still have a role, certainly. But at the core of it, the law of attraction is responding to, the frequency that you're emitting and the vibe that you've got. And when the vibe is true, people will, come to you. And when your vibe is not true, it's a struggle.
Yeah. And I love that, like how it feels for you. Like I know when I start laughing, and it doesn't happen that often, but like I'll start laughing to myself, something will strike me as so funny and so kind of, strange. And I have this really good feeling. I will sometimes post when I'm in that mood. And when I am in that mood, it always like never fails. There'll be tons of people who will comment and it'll be like this shared moment of kind of experience that we're all connected for a little while. And it's so lovely. And then I'll have the other time where I'd be like, it's Wednesday morning and I'm like, I should post something. I haven't posted anything in a while. And I'll have this thought like, I should do something, to be of service or something. And, like it'll be fine. And it's not that it's not, but it's like that feeling of that pushing myself to do something when maybe I'm not in an inspired place. And so kind of noticing that, but it's a real art, and yeah. Any other tips you have, like somebody who's just starting out to promote themselves and they're feeling really uncomfortable, like how would you suggest they begin, whether they be an acoustic guitarist or a Martha Beck nature-based life coach?
One of the pieces of advice that I've become very fond of lately, and it's not popular wisdom, but I feel like it's really more true now than ever. And it kind of speaks to what you were just saying about, feeling like you have to say something, or you have to promote yourself, or you must be out there. You must, there's frequency, and you must have something worthwhile to offer. Is, if you don't have anything to say that you really feel is a gift, and that is an offering that will move people, maybe save it. It's not about numbers and frequency and being out there. It's, instead of feeling like you have something to say, that you have to say something, wait until you actually have something to say. And I think people resonate with that. people really, they're not missing you when you're not in their feed. Generally speaking,
Right.
I'm not speaking about you particularly, but I mean, generally
Right.
speaking, I see a lot of people who just post like so frequently because they want to make sure that nobody forgets about them. But it
Yeah.
kind of creates resistance in a way, I feel, in terms of having people appreciate your message.
Yeah. And I am definitely, sometimes I'm like, I'll run into somebody and they'll be like, wow, girl, you post a lot. And I'm like, whoa, sometimes I'm like, it's okay. You can put a restraining order against me or just minimize me in your feed, in your feed. But I love the idea of it's not frequency, like it's frequency, like the vibe that you're putting out. Like one wonderful, heartfelt, vulnerable moment of truth is worth 1,000. Hey, happy Monday. It's, blah, 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 like this sort of
Exactly.
maybe forced feeling that you should be posting 5 to 7 times a day or whatever they tell you in media coaching school. I love that, Nancy. That is genius. And also that takes the pressure off us too, to if we're musicians and we're creating art for people to consume, to listen. I'm presuming we want these people, our audience members, to feel fantastic when they listen to our music. And the same for our coaching clients. Like we want them to feel, relaxed and at peace. So when we kind of walk that walk ourselves in our marketing, like that's a great challenge. Could you post authentically and only when you're really feeling it? I know I wrote myself a note. This was years ago when I first started, and I said, if you're not feeling good, don't post. Like, don't post from a place. Like a lot of times I'll see, people posting like when they're angry or they're really upset about something. And, or you're just not in a great place, to force yourself to think of what you need to say about this right now. Maybe wait. Yeah.
I've also often kind of, reflected on that exact point, that social media, no matter what, is a feedback loop. So
yeah.
whatever vibe you put out there is what you're going to get back. So if you're, having a bad day and you want to put up a woe is me thing, you're basically just, you're recycling the woe. You're going to get, it's going to underscore what you have. And there are times, obviously, when we need emotional support from people and we're looking for that from it. But it's in the moments that are just like part of life, because life is, peaks and valleys endlessly. If you're always posting from the valley, then you're going to stay in the valley longer. You're not going to, your natural rhythm isn't going to pick you up as quickly as it might if you just kind of like wrote it out.
Yeah. I love that. Any other advice you'd give to somebody who's just starting out in their creative career or their coaching kind of career and building a business? Any final what do you wish they knew?
It's the most important thing is that you have absolute permission to be yourself, and that you don't have to emulate others. You don't have to listen to others' advice. You don't have to fit any mold. Your truest, most authentic, purest vibration and offering is what people will respond to. And if you can find that place and practice staying there, magic will happen.
Love it. And I love that you speak of it like an offering, like here, this is something sacred that I want to share with you. And when it feels like that, whether it's a piece of music, a piece of art, or just something like you want to show up to share with somebody that you've learned, it's like, that's a beautiful way to look at it.
I feel like that is a huge part of the process of really setting people free in their marketing, is when they really have a very clear understanding of who they serve, what their gifts are, what that original medicine is, and how it empowers people or uplifts people. And they can like stay in that place. You fly then. You just fly, because it's not like you're trying to, demand attention or market yourself or whatever. But when you're underneath and you're in service to moving the whole planet, the whole universe forward, that is the grace piece. That's where it is.
And that's where the energy will come to pop you out of bed, to go on the road, to do these things that are challenging, that require a lot of our energy and kind of endless, Stamina, like the desire, when it's something so much greater than you. I think when you can see it that way, that you're in service to something greater than yourself, that's where for me it's like it gets even more fun, because you just realize, yeah, I'm just here to all this.
Well, ultimately, then you know that you're channeling, the divine. You're in service to what the purpose for your life is, what wants to happen. And that's actually the place with the Joseph Campbell quote about, magic happening, doors opening, and people appearing. That's the sweet spot where that starts to happen. And it's awesome. It's just absolutely astonishing how that happens, and in so many ways, large and small, the things that you can't make up.
Yeah. And that's so awesome. Okay. So Nancy, tell us, and I was looking at your website, so you'll help people walk themselves through this process to get clear on how they help, how they serve, who their people are, all that. I saw that you have like a program, you kind of, and some homework online even to get people started who want to work with you.
Yes, I do. And I have a couple courses up there that are just, kind of starter courses. One of them is for people who are kind of new to the idea of coaching and tools in general. And then the other one is more based on, that essence of marketing and really, helping people. And I'm working with a number of different coaches and musicians right now about really making sure that their message is consistent with what their work is, that it really looks like them and it feels like them, and that they love it and feel like they're coming from a place that's grounded in their truth. So, and there's a process that I go through to help them to get to that point and then help them stay there.
So awesome. And you've helped me so much, Nancy. Thank you so much. And thank you for sharing your wisdom. And you guys, were you and you're feeling connected, like, give Nancy a call, shoot her an email, and you will be happy you did. So thank you so much for being here. And Nancy, I'm going to put your website in the comments, but tell people where they can find you.
rocksteady.biz.
And is there a place where they can connect on there, like a contact form or something, I'm guessing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, until next time, thank you so much, fellow travelers, and we hope you continue to create fearlessly. Thank you, Nancy.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.